channel.
Happy New Year, Happy New Year. May we all have ambition now and then. All the world where every neighbor is a friend. Happy New Year, Happy New Year. May we all have our hopes, our will to try. If we don't, we might as well lay down and die. You and I. Man is a fool. Ooh, ooh, he's a stray. Happy New Year, Happy New Year. May we all have ambition now and then. All the world where every neighbor is a friend. Happy New Year, Happy New Year. May we all have our hopes, our will to try. If we don't, we might as well lay down and die. Man is a fool. Ooh, ooh, he's a stray. Happy New Year, Happy New Year. May we all have ambition now and then. All the world where every neighbor is a friend. Happy New Year. Happy New Year, Happy New Year. May we all have a vision now and then. All the world where every neighbor is a friend. Happy New Year, Happy New Year. May we all have our hopes, our will to try. If we don't, we might as well lay down and die. You and man is a fool. Ooh, ooh. He's a stray. Happy New Year, Happy New Year. May we all have ambition now and then. All the world where every neighbor is a friend. Happy New Year, Happy New Year. May we all have our hopes, our will to try.
Good afternoon and welcome to our live lesson this afternoon on Lunar New Year or Chinese New Year. We're going to talk a little bit about those two things today. So I'm really pleased to welcome everybody that I can see joining us live, and as always, hello to everybody who watches on catch up. I was looking at the statistics for the Amazon videos this morning, and some they're so popular that we've had like thousands of views on them. So I'm really thinking that putting it on the page, these lessons are becoming far more useful and far more visible to the home ed community rather than them living in our group. So I think that was a really good call. But don't forget to share far and wide with everybody that we are here every Wednesday at 2 o'clock with our live lesson. So today we're going to be looking at the Lunar New Year. We are going to start with a little bit of a warm-up kind of exercise. So what I would like you to do while we're waiting for some more people to join is word games. Now, aren't they popular? You might want to ask your grown-ups whether they're playing a particular popular word game, but word games are incredibly popular at the minute. And I have one that is on the screen right now. So we have lots of different letters. And I want you to work out how many 3 or more letter words can you find using the letters below. However, the letters need to join. So you couldn't, for example, use a D and an O because they are not next to each other. So you may join the word horizontally, vertically, diagonally, can't speak today, put my teeth back in, to the left, to the right, up and down. And you cannot use the same square letter more than once. So for example, if you've used D in the top left-hand corner, you cannot use it again in the same word. So what I would like you to do, as I said, is try and work out how many words that you can find. So I'm just going to look in the chat to everybody who's joining us. So hello to Jack and Jaden and Annabelle and George and Xavier and Elise and Izzy B and Laurie and Sappy and Scarlett and Violet and Isaac and Elizabeth Mary and Melanie and family and Mishka, Megan and Mia. Hi from South Africa. Wow, we should start talking about where you're all from, actually. Maybe I should have a little map of all the Twinkl Home educators and I could plot how far and wide you're all from. So I am seeing, so yeah, hello to you and hello to everybody, as I always say, on Catch Up, because actually we're even more popular on Catch Up. And hi from Tess, hi to Tessa, Evelyn and Sarah. Now I am seeing already some guesses in the chat. So we have tiger and bat, I have toe and bin and boar. So that's really, really good. So we're getting lots and lots and lots of different guesses. I want you, if you're watching on Catch Up, to talk to the people next to you, because of course you can't share in the chat. I'm seeing drag and bear and tiger and bat. So that is some amazing ideas. We have tiger coming up a lot, actually, as one of the guesses. Now, boat, good one. We have four, well done, to Sarah and family. Tad, yeah, tad, that's good. Rag, great. So lots of you have guessed tiger. Some of you have guessed boar, and another word for a boar is a boar. You could also use the word pig. We have lots of those animals. Why do you think tiger might be one of those animals? What have you looked at today? We've got rats. That's another one that's coming up in our session today. What has that got to do with Lunar New Year, do we think? What does that have to do with Lunar New Year? Now, Lunar New Year or Chinese New Year is actually a 15-day celebration, and it started yesterday. And I saw some amazing work that you guys have been doing to celebrate Lunar New Year and studying Lunar New Year. So my question to you is, what has the tiger got to do with Lunar New Year? And when I was catching up on the Facebook group this morning, I saw lots of people had made tiger bread, and that is one of my family's favourite breads. Whenever we buy that, it's gone within an hour. What is the tiger got to do with Lunar New Year? So we're getting lots and lots of great answers. We've got the tiger is the Chinese New Year animal. Well done, Elise. It's the year of the tiger. Well done, Jane and family. Yeah, Jenny and family, it's the year of the tiger. Sharon, yeah, it's the year of the tiger. And we are going to be looking today at Lunar New Year. Now, we have talked quite a lot about some skills that you might want to be thinking about. We've talked when we did our Amazon lessons that it's not necessarily about cramming your brain through of lots of facts. It's also about some skills. And one of the skills that we have been developing is the ability to describe. So that's what I thought we would start with. Now, this isn't a tiger, but I'm seeing lots about the Chinese story. We're going to talk about the Chinese story in a minute. But what can you see? So what animal do you think this is? How would you describe the animal? How would you describe how the animal looks? What sorts of adjectives? So adjectives are describing words. It's a posh way of saying a describing word. It's the way you describe a noun. So what do you think you could use to describe it? Now, I would use the word vibrant because I think that this picture shows an animal that looks really, really vibrant. But it's also what? It's not real. So what other describing words could we use to describe it? Because it's not a real animal, is it? It's what? What would we call it? We would call it a puppet. So it's a puppet. It's a mask. It looks really colourful. Amazing craftsmanship. I like that. It's really colourful. It looks really like polished. So yeah, it looks really bright and sort of glossy. It looks complex. These are amazing words. So yeah, it looks like a lot of time and effort has been spent into making it. And I've had lots of people also saying that is it the dragon used in Chinese dancing, twisting and vibrant, and it's a puppet. And yes, the dragon is used as part of the Lunar New Year celebrations. So we've talked a little bit about the colours in that particular dragon. I've got another one. Now, if you're going to compare, which is another skill, if we're going to compare the colours that we can see in here, can you see any similar colours? And you may know this from Lunar New Year and Chinese New Year, a colour that particularly comes up quite a lot. Can you see what colours maybe are similar in these two dragons? I'm seeing it's very intricate. That's a lovely word. I like that. And you can probably hear my dog clip-clopping around the floor as well. And I apologise for that, because both the dog and the cat, if you follow my lives for a very long time, will know that they always rock up as soon as I go live. But what do we think? I'm seeing red and gold. Brilliant. So we can see lots of red and gold and green. And do you know what those colours symbolise, particularly red? So symbolise means that they have a meaning. So why do you think, and if you don't know, we can talk about it a bit later, but why do you think red is a particularly prominent colour when we're talking about Lunar and Chinese New Year? So why do we think that we have red? We're getting it? Red is good luck, red is lucky. Brilliant. So yeah, so that's why when you look at a lot of the symbols that are used during these festivities of dragons and these beautiful puppets that are part of the festivities, and they often have these beautiful parades, and they have always usually got piles and piles of colour. And I've got Violet says red is about confidence and power and prosperity from Jack, and it's lucky. Brilliant. So some really, really good answers. Does anybody know, or could you guess, why you think the dragon is such an important animal in Lunar New Year? So I've already had somebody saying that it's to do with there's partly to do with the story. But do you know why the dragon is such an important animal? Because even though it is the year of the tiger this year, the dragon will feature in all of these parades and festivities. So do we know why the dragon is such an important animal? And you might not know, that's fine if you don't. It's something you can go and look up. So often these, I'm not going to give you the answers to everything, because actually it's important that maybe little seeds are sown and you go ahead and you go and find these answers out for yourself as well, because that's really important. So we've got some people saying that it could scare spirits away. It's to do with the Chinese tail. Maybe is it to do with being powerful? So these are all really, really, really good ideas. And again, it's back to that might protect them, might protect people. Now, I'm not actually going to give you the answer to that. And maybe as we go through today's lesson, you might have some more ideas. Strength, protection, really, really great ideas. Love the adjective fierce. I often describe my daughter as fierce as well. Take that with what you would. Now, really important, another thing to think about, you don't need to necessarily share this, but also I like to think about what children and you guys, my audience, would like to learn more about. Because again, as I've just said, when I am off the air, I wave goodbye, I'm hoping that these spark your curiosity to go and think about some other things that you could learn about Lunar and Chinese New Year, because it is 15 days of celebrations. It isn't just about yesterday, because I did have a few questions about why we're doing it on Wednesday when Lunar New Year is on Tuesday, and actually it isn't. Yesterday was the start of the 15 days, but actually you could think about what would you like to learn more of. Now, for example, this picture isn't actually of a dragon. Do you know what this puppet is? Because this is actually a puppet of a lion. So again, you might want to find out some more information about what the symbolism of this is and how this part of the story is linked to the dragons, okay, and lion dancing. Excellent. So why? So I've got some lots of information about, so Ezra wants to learn about legends and myths. So yeah, so I'm not gonna, again, you could think about lots of things you might want to take from here, lots of little sparks of ideas and how you would take those on, and then maybe you could look into them as you get further through the week. Their food, absolutely a really good idea. Now, before we start, I've used the words Lunar New Year, when it all began. Good question. These are really great questions, guys. I'm really impressed. Your skills are awesome. Why is it called Lunar New Year? Now, for a start, it's not only China that celebrates this particular festival, which is why really we should refer to it as Lunar New Year rather than Chinese New Year. Now, it's a celebration that follows the phases of the moon, and it marks the beginning of the Lunar New Year, which is when there is the start of a new moon. So Lunar New Year, if it's to do with the beginning of the Lunar New Year, what do you think, based on what you know about moons, do you think that Lunar New Year is a bit like New Year that we celebrate in this country every year on the 1st of January? If it's linked to the phases of the moon, do you think it's going to be the same every year, or do you think that the date is going to shift? What do you think? What do you think? Have you got any ideas? So I've got lots of questions about why did it all begin? Why do they do specific dances? That's some really good questions. Well, you should have got the idea that it does. Well done, Izzy B. It does shift. So the date that the start of these 15 days of festivities start actually changes every year because of the cycles of the moon. And so you can actually look at a calendar of the moon and the phases of the moon, and so therefore, because you're charting the cycles of the moon and the start of that new moon, then obviously that day is going to the shift. So Lunar New Year will be held, it's the first day, and then from that on 15 days will start any time between the 21st of January and the 20th of February. So this year it started on the 1st of February, but actually every year it will change with the moon. Now, as I've just said, it is an important celebration in China. It's one of the most important celebrations in China, but it's actually celebrated in Hong Kong, in Tibet, in Vietnam, in Singapore, in Malaysia, in Indonesia and South Korea, and also it's celebrated all over the world where particular families we all move around, so it's also celebrated really all over the world. And so to refer to it as Chinese New Year actually isn't really correct, because as I said, it's an important festival for lots and lots and lots of different people in lots of different countries. And those are the main countries that Lunar New Year is incredibly important. Now, how is it celebrated? Well, first of all, many people who celebrate Lunar New Year start the festivities by actually cleaning their houses, and they clean all their houses in order to remove any bad luck. So back to that symbolism, they believe that if you thoroughly clean your house, then you remove any bad luck. And it's very much a family celebration, so it's all generations, all the way from grannies and granddads all the way down to young children, and they often start with a really special dinner with all of the family together on Lunar New Year's Eve. And traditionally, the older members, and you may have seen some of this in the opening video, the older members of the family often give the younger members of the family a really small, a sort of small envelope. And again, they're usually red on Lunar New Year's Day. And they often, as I said, are beautifully coloured in red because that's a lucky colour, and they contain money. So that's on the very first day. That's what they exchange in the family. And then dances and fireworks occur throughout the festivities. So where we've seen these dragon dances and the lion dances. So there's lots and lots and lots of festivities. And then on the 15th day, so you count 15 days from the very first day of Lunar New Year, there is a lantern festival. And then the lantern festival signifies the end of the Lunar New Year celebration, so the Lantern Festival. So you might want to go afterwards and have a look a little bit more about the Lantern Festival. And I've seen some of you have made some collage lanterns in our Facebook group. But children carry these beautiful lanterns around their neighbourhood at night time, and they're all lit up and they're beautiful, and it marks the end of the celebration. And again, back to that symbolism, we've used this word quite a lot, but these colourful lanterns are used to kind of light up the houses, and they believe that this brings new luck for the year ahead. Now, food for New Year. So dependent on the sort of country and the culture where Lunar New Year is, you'll find that obviously different foods are shared. So most of the foods that are shared over Lunar New Year have special meanings. So in China, for example, many people during the course of the Lunar New Year celebrations will eat fish dishes. And the reason for that is because the Mandarin word for fish sounds a little bit like surplus. And if you have surplus, it means you've got extra. And so they believe that it's kind of lucky to have lots of fish dishes, because it means that for the year ahead, then that will bring good luck and plentiful food and for life. So that's kind of one of the traditions in China. In Korea, they often eat a special soup, and that's often served with rice cakes, and they make those rice cakes circular so that they're like coins, so they look like the shape of coins or money. And again, so they believe it's very lucky if you eat the soup and you eat these coin-shaped rice cakes. They believe that that will again bring you fortune, good fortune for the coming year. So again, lots of these foods symbolize certain things. And if you think about lots of festivals for lots of special people, and maybe thinking about the festivals that you have at home, we very much attach food to that festivity. And then in Vietnam, they often eat a square, sticky rice cake wrapped in leaves, and it can be stuffed with pork or vegetables and takes many hours to prepare. And often lots of these are family recipes, and they're very traditional to particular families. So friends of ours that originate from China, they always make, every Lunar New Year, they make a carrot cake. But inside the carrot cake, they put scallops and they put pork. And it's kind of the texture of a carrot cake, but it has these scallops and pork and some onion. It's quite an unusual dish, and they make it every year, and then they share it with all of their friends, again as a kind of good fortune and to bring good luck for the year. So again, you could go and look up that recipe because it's a really unusual one. So lots of these special recipes have special meanings for particular families. Now, other New Year traditions. So again, some of these might be particularly family specific, but lots of people believe that the first guest to enter their house at the very start of the Lunar New Year will decide their fortune for the year ahead. So many families think really carefully about who they are going to invite into their house, because the very first guest kind of symbolises, that word again, what maybe the fortune might be for the year ahead. So lots of families make sure they're careful to invite someone who is kind and successful to be the first person to enter their home. So I was thinking, who do you think that you would invite if you were going to invite your first guest to enter your home in New Year? Because that's again a really, really important thing to people who celebrate Lunar New Year. And then many families play board games together, and lots of families go and watch street performances and acrobatic performances and parades, and the dancers that dress up as lions or a dragon, and there may be big firecrackers that make large bangs to sort of scare away sort of badness and badness is really not a good adjective, is it, Chrissy? But in order to ward away bad things for the coming year, to kind of make everything really lucky. So I'm having some things shares in the group that Sarah would have their big brother Jack be their very first guest. So I don't know who I would have as my very first guest. I think I would have to sit and think really, really long about it. Now, each year, the Lunar New Year starts with a different animal. So each of the years are a different particular animal. So we've already talked about the fact that we have the year of the tiger. And what we're going to look at, we worked out some others like the rat and the boar or the pig in that very first start of the lesson. And so what we're going to look at is we're going to look at why are each of the years named after specific animals. So we've just said that 2022 is the year of the tiger, and we are going to talk about a very famous emperor, and we are going to talk about the story surrounding this emperor. And I have lots of puppets, and I'm going to attempt, she says attempt, to do a little bit of a puppet show. So she says, so what we're going to do is I'm going to remove this one, and I'm going to hopefully stop my camera, and hopefully you can hear me. So you should see that there is a river, and what we're going to do is I am going to tell you a story, and this is where a lot of the tradition comes from for Lunar New Year. So a long time ago in China, the Emperor Jade decided that he wanted a way to measure time, and he told the animals that they were all going to compete in a race, and that the first 12 animals that could cross the river would have a year named after them. So here is the emperor, and he is going to sit on one side of the river, and he is going to start off a race with all of the animals. So on the day of the race, all the animals lined up beside the river, and the rat and the cat were really, really good friends. In fact, they were best friends. They were best friends, but they were really, really worried because the rat said, I'm really not very good at swimming, and the cat said, I don't like water and I'm not really good at swimming either. So what they did is they asked the ox whether he would help them. And so he said, of course I will help you. And he promised to carry them across on his back. So everybody jumps in to start the race, and the ox agrees to carry them on their back, and he starts to swim across the river. And the cat and the rat are so pleased that they are being helped by their friend, and they are really even more pleased when the ox takes the lead. And he is in the lead, and they are saying, go ox, we're going to win. And they're almost to the other side of the river. But what do you think happens? Well, what happens is the rat pushes the poor cat into the river because he wants to win, and he jumps straight on to land first, and he is declared the winner. So well done, said the emperor to the rat. The first year of the zodiac will be named after you. Now the ox comes along, and he feels a bit sad because he's been tricked, but he still clambers out of the bank, and he is in second place. And the Emperor Jade says the second year of the zodiac will be named after you. Now, shortly after this, the tiger is swimming, and the Emperor sees the tiger swimming across the riverbank, and he's exhausted, absolutely exhausted. And the Emperor says, my goodness, tiger, what is it? And the tiger says, the current is so strong in this river. I've really had to fight such strong currents, and I am exhausted. But he clambers out of the bank, and the third year is named after the tiger. Now, next to arrive is the rabbit. Now, the rabbit hadn't swum across the river because the rabbit realised that actually he wasn't really very good. So what he had done is he'd seen some stepping stones and he hopped onto some stepping stones and was hopping and hopping between the stepping stones. And then he saw a floating log and he jumps onto the floating log, and the floating log carries him all the way to the other side. And the Emperor Jade says, "Well done, rabbit. You are fourth. I will name the fourth year after you." Now, might not be able to get this one on my camera because look how big he is. What one's this animal? This is fifth place. This is the dragon. Okay, so the dragon comes along and he climbs out. Now he's humongous. Can you see how humongous he is compared to the other animals? And the Emperor says, "How come you didn't win the race? You could have just flown across ever so quickly. Why on earth did you not win? You should have been the winner." And the dragon says, "Well, I could have won. I could have just flown straight across, but actually I stopped because there were lots of other animals that were struggling, and I stopped to help some of my friends, and so that is why I didn't come first." How kind is that? And the Emperor said, "Well done, dragon. You will be awarded fifth place." Now, heading towards the line was the horse. So the horse was about to cross the line and he was about to take the next place. However, the horse was surprised because wiggling around his feet as he was trying to clamber out was a snake. And so the horse jumped back because he was frightened of the snake. And so the snake slithered forward and slithered out the bank, and the snake took the sixth place. And then the horse clambered out and the horse took seventh place. Now, not long after, the Emperor had to wait a little bit, but not long after, the Emperor could see that there was a raft floating across the river. And on the raft came the monkey, a rooster, and a goat. And they explained how they had worked as a team. They'd got a raft, they got on the raft, and they'd worked together as a team to get across the bank. And the Emperor was so pleased and said that the goat would be awarded 8th place, and the monkey would be awarded 9th place, and the rooster would be awarded 10th place. Now, the next animal, I wonder if you can work out what it will be, because we've not got many left, but the next animal to arrive was the dog. And the Emperor said, "Why are you so late? What took you so long? You were a really good swimmer." And the dog said, "Well, the river was so clean, I decided to have a bath along the way, and I kind of took my time a little bit." But he still clambered out and he was 11th, so he was awarded the 11th year. And then there was only one place left. And who do we have left? Well, we have the cat, and we talked about him at the beginning, we also have the boar, or the pig. And there's only one place left. Do you know which animal gets it? Well, the Emperor sits and wonders who the last winner will be. And then all of a sudden, the pig turned up. And the Emperor said, "Well, you took a long time to get across the river. What happened?" And the pig said, "Oh, I was hungry and I stopped to have something to eat, and then I fell asleep, and then I crossed the river. But I'm here now." And the emperor said, well, pig, you have been awarded the 12th year. And that meant that there were no more years left to allocate. But out came, right at the end, really, really wet, really sad was the cat. Now, the cat felt really sad and upset. He and Rat had been friends for years and years and were really close. They had come up with the idea of getting on oxes back together, and the cat felt really, really sad that his friend had thrown him off the back of ox. But sadly, there were no places left for the zodiac, so the cat sadly, unfortunately, didn't get a place. And that is why the rat and the cat are no longer friends. So when we talk about why do rats and cats not like each other, in people that believe and follow and celebrate the Lunar New Year would argue that it's goes right back to that story. That is why cats and rats are not friends. Now, I'm getting lots in the chat about I am the year of the tiger, I'm the year of the rabbit, I'm the year of the dog, snake, pig, monkey. So yes, so each year is allocated a particular animal. So if you don't know, you could go and have a look. I am the year of the monkey. And there is a belief that each year has particular qualities linked to those animals. So if you don't already know, you could maybe after this lesson go and research and look and find out what the qualities, and there's also special numbers and colours and attributes linked to each of the zodiac years. So from this day to this day, the Chinese zodiac has followed this particular cycle named after those 12 animals. So that is the kind of legend behind it and the story. And whew, I managed all those puppets because that was an awful lot, and I was worried that I wouldn't get them all, and I would drop them. So we've got what year were you born in? So yes, we're having lots and lots and lots of guesses. And as I've said, if you haven't, go and find out a little bit more about them. Now, people celebrate, and I think this is the kind of big point, is that people celebrate Lunar New Year in many, many different ways. And its aim really is to wish everyone the best for the year ahead. So you don't need to share this now, but to think about is what might your wishes for the year ahead be? Because quite often we think about that on the 1st of January. You might have thought about that already. But actually, if you haven't, then maybe think about what your wishes are for the year ahead. What would you like to achieve? What would you like to do? What would you like to develop in yourself? Anything you'd like to try, like a new hobby. But yeah, to think about what your wishes are for the year ahead. And as I said, you could maybe share those at home. And what we're going to do now is we're going to think about wishes, and we're going to make a paper fortune cookie. Now, it's really, really easy. All you need is you need some glue, and you need a pencil, and you need some colouring pencils, and you need a set of scissors, and you need a piece of paper. Now, if you don't have those things, I'm going to just show you how to do it. But if you don't have it now, then you can, as always, you can do them later on. Now, you need something circular in order to draw around. So I'm hoping you can see me. It's a bit sunny in my kitchen today. So we've got our paper. Now I've got some sellotape. I'll just change that. I can do it so that it's bigger. There we go. So I've got some, I'm going to use my sellotape to draw around. So you just draw a nice circle. And then you get your scissors and you cut them out. That's a really good point someone's made in the chat. And that is not as simple as just looking at the year. because of course the Lunar New Year starts sometime towards the end of January or February, so there is that little crossover. So if you are born in January or early February, you might actually be the year before. So you can go and check that out. There's plenty of really good calendars online. So yes, really good point there, and actually really good, a really good point to raise, because that shows that you were definitely listening when I was talking about the start date of the New Year. Now, the second thing that you need also is to cut out a little piece of paper. Now, I'm not going to, because you don't want to sit here all day and watch me, but what you can do is you can decorate the outside of your fortune cookie. Okay, so I'm just going to very, very quickly draw a pretty flower. And you could maybe go and you could maybe think about what you want to do, but yeah, so you can decorate it if you wish. Now, I'm going to, as I've said, do this really quickly, because I am pretty sure you guys don't want to sit on a Wednesday afternoon and hang out and watch me drawing, particularly as I'm not that great. But the most important thing here is on your piece of paper. Now, it's entirely up to you. You could either write your wish, so we talked about thinking about your wishes for the coming year, so you could you could write down your wish, or you could think about a nice message of best wishes that you could give your fortune cookie to somebody. Okay, so you could write that there. So I'm going to write best wishes and luck on mine. But as I said, it's entirely up to you. You can either do your wish, or you can just do something for somebody else. And then, now this is a little bit fiddly, but you're going to put a little blob of glue on one side of the inside of the fortune cookie. And then what you are going to do is you're going to carefully fold it over and just hold it into place. So you can still see it's got a little hole. And then what you're going to do is you're going to pop your wish through. This is where I start to lose people, because it's a bit fiddly coming through. There we go. And then what you need to do is you need to find the middle bit, this bit here, and you need to push it in, and then you need to pull the other bits around like so. Okay, we're going to do it once on this camera so you can see. So you've got your hold it in half, and then you're going to just pull this around. Okay, I'm going to do that close here. So pull it and put it around. And then what you're going to do is you're going to get your glue, and you're going to put your glue here on one edge. Yeah. And then you're going to carefully stick that together. Now you might want to put your finger inside one bit of your fortune cookie, and then you have your fortune cookie. Now the next bit is entirely up to you. You can either keep your wish flapping around so that people could just put it out, or alternatively you can then fold it carefully inside like so. And then what you have is your fortune cookie, which either has your lovely wish, or alternatively it has a lovely special message for somebody that you love. Okay, and they're really simple and easy to make, and you can make them and make lots of them and share them with people. Okay, and you can decorate them as well. So that is how to make your fortune cookie. So hopefully you are going to go off and make your fortune cookie. Now that is the end from me rather. I hope that you have learned lots about Lunar New Year. I hope that I have set you off with some ideas of extra things you can go and look up and find, even if you just go and get your atlas and look at all of the different countries that celebrate Lunar New Year, and making those fortune cookies, and as I said, setting yourself some of those extra challenges of extra things that you would like to know. Also, there is a really great Twinkl Originals book called Dragons in the City, which is really great. You can you don't need to have the physical copy. You can download the Twinkl Originals app and you can read it straight on there. But again, it's one of our family favourites, and it's a great thing to learn further about Chinese New Year. That is the end of the live for this week. I will be in the back next Wednesday at 2 o'clock. And next week, we are getting a little bit of a head start because we are going to be looking at Valentine's Day, which happens on the 14th of February. And we're going to be looking at the origins of Valentine's Day and doing some other, lots of other interesting and exciting things. So do please join me next week at 2 o'clock. Do please share far and wide with everybody. As I've said, these are live. They're every Tuesday. They're on our Twinkl Home Ed Facebook page, so they're able for everybody to come and join in. So do share far and wide with everybody in your local groups that you think might like to come along. And also I'm hoping that you learn something and your parents get, or whoever it is that looks after you at home, gets 25 to 30 minutes of peace and a cup of tea, because I know from parenting home ed children, when you home ed, it can be pretty full on. So I'm hoping that you've had a lovely hour or nearly hour. I certainly have. And I will see you again next week.